Hey everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rhonda.
And we're with The Color of Marriage.
And we want to share with you a marriage replenishment moment.
And that marriage replenishment moment that we would like to share with you today is sowing hope instead of despair in your marriage. Sowing hope instead of despair in your marriage. All right. So, Rhonda, what is the marriage greatness principle for sowing hope instead of despair? What is that?
Well, when husbands and wives, they create an environment of hope instead of despair in their marriage, great things happen.
That's right. The environment that you produce in your marriage makes the difference of whether it's hope or despair. So when there's a lot of yelling, screaming, profanity, name calling, shaming, blaming, and all those things like that, you're setting up an atmosphere or an environment of despair. Yes. What do you think about that, Rhonda?
I agree. I mean, to be constantly feel like you're going to be belittled for what you say, to be mocked about your opinion and your thoughts, and even just how long you talk. I mean, that can be really disheartening, and you feel like you can't speak to your spouse. I mean, a lot of people I know, they feel like they're walking around on eggshells, and that is not a hopeful situation. It's like, when will this situation change? And that leads to a lot of despair, and despair leads to depression, and just then regressing away from the relationship.
Right. So instead of despair, instead of creating an atmosphere of despair in your marriage, let's create an atmosphere of hope. So what does that look like? That means that you have positive words to say to each other. That means you're able to resolve the conflicts and challenges of your marriage without blowing up, without shaming, without blaming. And you have to learn to do those things, and you cannot do those things overnight. You have to be intentional about doing those things. So how does that look to you, Rhonda?
The words, I'm so glad you touched on words, because words are so powerful. People believe that your words don't have power, but they do. Words can be like blows or slaps to the face. Amen. Whether you realize it or not. That old saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names would never hurt me, that's a lie. That is a lie from the pit of hell. And I just want you to know that, because words are very powerful. They tear down. They tear down your children. They tear down your spouse. They tear us down, and they affect how we really view ourselves, because a lot of times us as individuals, we are so caught up in our view of the world is how other people see us, you know. And if you see me as this old mean, nasty, ugly woman, and you calling me all these names, then my view of myself, unless I really have this strong personality, is going to be a little warped. And especially if you are the person that I love and I care for the most, your opinion of me matters. You understand? And that tears me up inside. No matter how much, I try to act like and put on a facade that it doesn't bother me, it bothers me. It really does. It eats at your soul. And even if you are to get out this relationship and I go to another one, I still, in the back of my mind, I would hear those words, especially if, there was you say something that triggers me to remind me of back then when that person was tearing me down. That would be a trigger for me. And so we have to be careful with what we say to each other. We want to uplift each other. We want to give each other gifts with our words of encouragement, not discouragement.
Yes. So that's that hope that you bring to your relationship. You don't tell your husband or your wife that you can get out, you can leave, you can go find somebody else. That brings no hope. That brings despair. But when you say, I'm with you until the end, we're going to work through these difficulties that we're having. We're going to find someone that's going to help us work through these difficulties, so that way we won't give up. That's bringing hope to your marriage instead of despair. So sow some seeds of hope. And take away those seeds of despair, because whatever seeds you're sowing, That's what's going to grow in your marriage. Yes. All right, so that's our marriage replenishment moment for today. Remember to sow seeds of hope and not despair. Yes. All right, so make sure that you click on the link to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also click the bell so that way you can be notified when we are putting up another video. And visit us at www.thecolorofmarriage.com, and we will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.